Welcome everybody to another episode of the Pelvic Detective. My name is Ingrid Harm Hernandez and I've been a PT for over 38 years and a pelvic PT for over 26 years. During that time, I've been so fortunate to, be one of the first certified PTs in the United States. I've been part of a residency program for a pelvic PT at Duke, done research, done all sorts of really awesome things. And I'd like to share that knowledge with you in a series of videos that I'm partnering with Desert Harvest. And it will be so excited to bring, everything from terminology to diagnosis to the musculoskeletal system, all sorts of things that are going to help you understand pelvic health and how to get care sooner, how to get better care. So stay with us on this road with lots of videos coming up on all that subject matter, plus some great interviews with pelvic experts. So looking forward to going through all of those different topics in this series of videos. There is a lot of confusion regarding pelvic health. Many people don't realize that there are issues such as urinary incontinence, fecal incontinence, constipation, pelvic pain, which is a whole large category on its own, pelvic issues associated with pregnancy and after pregnancy or the fourth trimester, prolapse, and just so much more. We'll definitely be talking about those specific topics. But I'd like everybody to realize that although these conditions are common, they're not to be considered normal. And what I mean by that is they're there, we have them, and just because we have them, we get older, maybe we're in menopause, people say, oh, you should be leaking. No, you shouldn't be leaking. So I just want folks to realize that these conditions can get help. They really are very treatable, and we don't have to live with them. My book, The Musculoskeletal Mystery, How to Solve Your Pelvic Floor Symptoms, is a great partner to these videos. It really explains all the different things we'll be going over in the videos in detail. So it's a great, great partner to these videos, and check it out. Also, I want people to realize that these videos are for educational purposes only. They're not meant to treat or diagnose. They are meant to help you find your way to good care earlier and the right kind of care, and to be able to ask the right kinds of questions. So today's topic is going to be on the true core. Here's something also that a lot of people get misconceptions because of all sorts of stuff they see out there on the internet, and it's very confusing to know what's really your core, and then why is the core so important in pelvic conditions, and why is it so important for the pelvic floor. So we're going to talk a lot about that today. So when we are talking about the pelvic floor, it is actually what I consider the most important part of the core, yet nobody pays attention to it. So I want you to think of your core as a house, right? So a house has a foundation, and that foundation is what holds the house up. So I think using the model is going to be really important in helping understand better what's going on with the core. So we've talked about the pelvic floor, that being your sling or your hammock, right? So it holds up your pelvis and your body no matter what happens. That is like the foundation of your house. Right? So think about this as holding up your house. So the next part of the house is the diaphragm. And the diaphragm, which is a muscle as well and helps you breathe, is like the roof of your house. So we want to really consider that roof, right, in your whole house. And it works in tandem with your pelvic floor. Then we want to talk about the abdominals. So that's all of your abdominals, not your six-pack. People focus so much on their six-pack, and that is only one part of the abdominals. You've got an entire series of abdominals that really are the front of your house. And then your back and buttock musculature is the back of your house, right? And that helps support you from the back. So that is the entire structure of your house. Now, I say to my patients, what would happen if someone pulled the foundation out from your house? You would realize that your house would start to fall apart. And in your body, something similar could be happening, that if the pelvic floor is not functioning at its optimal, at its best, the rest of your body may suffer from it. So we have to realize that that makes our pelvic floor that really most important part of our core. Now, to take it one step further, your house is sitting still on land, but now imagine, you've probably seen pictures of them moving historic houses down the street. They want to move it to a different place. And that house is now sitting on wheels and it's not stable. Well, every movement you make, your pelvis is not necessarily 100% stable, meaning it should be moving. It should be accommodating to the ground in every step you take. So your pelvic floor has to accommodate all those motions. And when it's working great, awesome. You don't even know that it's doing it. If it's not working great, well, then trouble can start to happen, right? So this doesn't mean everything's going to go wrong, but just realize it could be an introduction to something maybe going wrong and maybe having difficulty with it. So it's something just to consider how important your pelvic floor is in your core, yet everybody ignores it because they don't realize how important that is. Right? So hopefully you have a good picture in your mind, kind of what that means, what the real true core is, and why your pelvic floor is so important. So when you sense maybe something's going wrong in the pelvic area, that's the time to reach out to a pelvic PT, to other practitioners, maybe an OBGYN or urogynecologist, who can determine better exactly what's happening and then get the right care for you so you're not suffering with problems when you don't have to be. And that's the beauty of this, is if you understand that better, you know to reach out for help. You know to get that help, right? So my book, The Musculoskeletal Mystery, How to Solve Your Pelvic Floor Symptoms, goes over that in detail, has great pictures, has ways for you to really understand how the whole core, even more than what I just talked about today, really can impact symptoms in the pelvic floor, the pelvis, the abdominal area, the back, the hips, and on and on. So realize also that's why things like yoga and Pilates can be an important part of your care with this and can make part of your team, which we'll talk more about as well. But just always understand that teamwork is really important in all these conditions. So in my book, again, The Musculoskeletal Mystery, we'll do that in detail. You can find that on Desert Harvest and on Amazon. And Desert Harvest, you can find awesome products that are associated with all of these things. So please hope you get to look at all those different things and consider what we talked about today. And looking forward to seeing you again in future videos.